Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Tactical Talk with Shad and Jillian with Mad Dog Armory.
Hello.
Hello. Thanks again for joining us. We're on every Friday at 6 p.m. Almost every Friday at 6 p.m. No, we are on every Friday at 6 p.m. It's just if it's a new show or if it's a rerun or not.
Right.
But it's always good to re-watch our shows. So welcome. Like I said, we are the owners, Shad and I are the owners of Mad Dog Armory, the founders and the owners. Mad Dog Armory is a retail store and training center. And we are super excited to be here. WeBeam TV is our host, and they are generous enough to let us talk to you about some cool stuff, guns, ammunition, training classes, concealed stuff, like all gun industry stuff. That's super exciting for us to talk about.
Absolutely.
And so we're really thankful to them. So join us, like I said, every Friday at 6 p.m. on WeBeam TV, on social media. I think our Facebook page streams us. YouTube, you can kind of search Tactical Talk, or WeBeam, I think, hosts it as well. So there's a bunch of ways to find us. It's up on your screen as well. Thank you.
Follow us on Instagram as well.
Yes, absolutely.
You
Follow
get
us.
some behind the scenes stuff there, right?
Are we going to start doing that?
Maybe.
I don't know what that is. I don't know what's the eyebrows thing? I don't know why he's doing that. Okay. He must know something I don't know. Maybe there's a secret camera somewhere. Who knows? It's just exciting. So just watch us because we keep it exciting. All right. So this is our eighth episode.
Show, yeah.
So we're very, very happy about that. When we first were talking about doing the show, we were kind of like, how are we going to fill an hour? What are we going to talk about? And it's funny because the cameras go on and we're just like, blah, 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 and we just start talking about stuff.
And the last couple times it's like, oh shit.
We like run out.
We're going to cut out. Yeah.
Yeah. We like run out of time. So it's cool because it just proves that we're super passionate about what we do and teaching the public and offering our 2 cents on the industry, trying to keep you up to date on the latest, coolest things. And again, hoping that we educate you and also entertain you a little bit, maybe. So
A little bit.
Usually with this guy, but all right. So like I said, we are the owners of Mad Dog Armory. If you couldn't tell, Mad Dog, you're not wearing a Mad Dog shirt today. You're wearing an Infidel. Oh, he's getting up. Yeah. So it is kind of a Mad Dog shirt, but you do have Infidel. What is Infidel?
Oh, that's all of us Americans over here. So Infidel is the Muslim term for somebody that is not going to Allah. So we're all infidels.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, if you're not going to Allah,
And I'm not
are there
going
some
to Allah.
American? I'm sure there's Americans that
Muslims.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Cool. So you're not going to Allah.
No. I already know where I'm going.
Oh Jesus. Okay. Okay. So Mad Dog Armory, like I said, so our mission is really simple at Mad Dog. We want to educate the community. We want to make sure everybody's safe with their firearms. Firearms are a huge part of the USA, America, and we want to make sure that everybody is following the safety rules and are in the right firearm for them. And so we're very passionate about education. We offer all sorts of training at our 2 local locations. We have a location in Largo, Florida, and as well as South Tampa, Florida. And we're very excited about our South Tampa location. That's our newest location. We also have some interest now in South Carolina, potentially for a franchise.
Yeah.
So if you're interested in owning your own Mad Dog Armory, we are franchising, and we're offering that throughout the United States right now. And we have somebody coming from South Carolina to do a discovery day. So I'm still trying to figure out what exactly that is. But I think it's just for them to come and see the location and all that stuff. So we're really excited about that. So we're looking to grow Mad Dog Armory. We have a great mission and vision and look and feel. And so I feel like we're kind of set apart from other gun shops in a great way. So
I actually just had somebody in our Tampa location the other day, and it was a young woman and her brother. And they were looking at some items, and they were getting ready to leave, and the lady was like, I just want to let you know, this is a really nice shop. And I said, well, do you know why? She's like, no. I said, a woman owns this shop. She goes, I was in a bunch of shops today. So they'd been going around looking for a particular firearm, and every shop they went into. She's very knowledgeable with guns, very similar to Jillian. And she'd go into a gun shop, and they'd pretty much just give her the whole, oh, you like a nice little pink gun, a revolver,
pink
or
revolver.
something like that. And it's just insane. So that's one of the things we take pride in not doing, is actually, not judging the book by its cover. Everybody's created and treated equally.
Yes.
Because you have no idea what the knowledge base is for whoever's sitting in front of you.
Sure, sure. And it's not even just the sex, but I do understand that that's something that is definitely an issue. It's just your level of skill, So everybody was a beginner once, whether you started
Absolutely.
when you were 6 or 8 or 10 or as
40.
an adult, correct. So ultimately, we've talked about this before, there are no girl guns and boy guns. It's really just a fit to the actual person. I've mentioned it before that I come from a very large family of people, very tall, long fingers. So something for me is not necessarily the typical girl gun, because when people think girl gun, they think we have little petite, little small hands, and that's not the right gun for me.
Right.
So it is definitely a disservice for other gun shops to do that. So stop doing that, other gun shops.
Or keep doing that. And come to Mad Dog Armory.
Or that. But ultimately, that's our story, and we're super excited to be here.
Yep.
All right, so today's show, like I said, is number 8. We missed a couple of weeks of filming due to various different reasons, but
We're
back, and we're excited about today's show. We're going to talk concealed carry licenses, basically how to get one, who should have one, how you go about getting one. And again, we're in the Tampa Bay market in Florida, so for people that are outside of our local area, you're going to want to check with your particular state. We will touch a little bit on reciprocal states for Florida, but again, we're Florida focused because that's what we know, that's what we teach,
Right.
this is where we are.
And we're not attorneys, and this is not legal advice.
Thank you.
It has been nailed.
It is very true, we are not attorneys, however, we
I did
do-
stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night, though. So.
Well, then you qualify,
There's that.
I would think. So basically, we are very informed in things. We're going to give you lots of resources and different tools that we have at our disposal to share with you. So, yes, thank you for that caveat. So we're going to talk concealed carry. We're also going to touch a little bit on ammunition because we've touched on that in previous shows, but just kind of like the ammunition that you should potentially use in your concealed carry gun and not, your range stuff. And then we'll talk some statistics and things like that.
Those are always fun.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty shocking in America how many people have guns, how many background checks are being done. Also, we're going to talk about the process of buying a gun because there's a lot of
Okay.
people that don't understand the process and think, especially people on the other side, which it sucks that I have to
share
say
this
that.
with the other side, please.
Yeah, if you have any people that are liberal Democrats, not that there's anything wrong with that. My mother-in-law, like one of the best person in the whole entire world, and one of the best people in the world to me, is a Democrat. And even though we don't agree on things, that's okay. We still get along. We still see
Yep.
each other every week.
And she watches. Hi, Mom.
She does watch. Hi, Mima. So definitely share this with them because a lot of people don't realize that you are required to go through a lot of
Yeah.
steps. And we're also going to go over like how many people have been
Right.
denied and how many times.
There's a lot of disinformation out
Absolutely,
there, right? Or
yes.
wrong information that is just
Yes.
being portrayed as something that's factual when in actuality
Like
it's
anybody
not.
can get a gun and
Right.
there's no background checks and all this other stuff. So we're gonna touch on that. Last week's show, I believe, I don't know what we ran last week, but the last week that we were here and filmed, we talked about revolvers, which is very important. What?
Revolver.
Revolvers.
That's just, I don't know.
And ammunition.
Yes.
So like I said, we're going to touch on ammunition, but if you want to learn a little bit more about that, definitely check out episode 7 because we really go into ammunition in that and also revolvers, which is going to also segue into today's show because we're going to talk about the process of buying a gun. And the first thing is you have to pick your gun, clearly. And picking the right gun for you is very, very important. You may also have several different guns depending on their use, right?
Yep.
So your concealed carry gun is likely going to be the smallest, most compact gun you can carry because in Florida we're a concealed carry state. However, you want the most capacity. So manufacturers have been listening, and we've also talked about this in previous shows too, so go back and watch them, but the SIG 365, right, the Hellcat, they're starting to come out, manufacturers are starting to come out with firearms that are in a smaller package, meaning the size of the firearm is smaller, and it's got higher capacity, 10, 13, 12 rounds, which is nice, because it used to be a few years ago, you'd have this...
6 or 7 or 8, maybe, if you were lucky.
Correct. So the smaller concealed carry guns didn't have a lot of capacity. So you were trading off the size of the gun to be able to conceal with the capacity, which is always like,
Tough trade-off.
it's a tough trade-off. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. So, so we're going to talk about the process of buying a gun and getting your concealed in Florida. First step, of course, is to do your research, go into a gun shop, talk to somebody, put guns in your hands. It's very important. You could look online, but you're going to want to go to a store and you're going to want to actually put your hands on the guns, all right? Gun shops.
It's like trying on shoes, literally, right?
Yeah.
You want to put this stuff on, like shoes, you're going to put them on, you're going to walk around the store a little bit. Do they feel comfortable? It's the same thing with a firearm.
Sure.
Does it feel comfortable in your hand? If it doesn't, put it down, move on to the next gun.
Yes.
Too many manufacturers out there. Too many
choices.
Options that you just want to find the one that's right for you.
So many choices, yeah. And if you're buying your first firearm and you've never had any experience with firearms, just know that the guns are safe for the most part in gun shops. So when you walk into a gun shop, I know it's intimidating, but you see all these guns and you've never touched one before, they're not loaded. So you need ammunition in the gun in order for it to go off. So these guns are not going to be loaded. Now, with that said, you can ask the salesperson to check it, right?
And
if you don't know how.
Right, they should. Reality, the salesperson, I would probably say 99% of the time, a salesperson in whatever shop you go into is going to check, open the gun, verify, make sure that it's empty, and then provide it to you.
Absolutely.
So.
Experienced firearm salespeople and just people in general that are enthusiasts and own guns, they are going to automatically, like I do, clear that gun before you start handling it, before you hand it to somebody. So they're gonna drop the magazine out or just release it and open the slide and look in the chamber, make sure there's nothing in the chamber and the magazine's out and it's clear. It can never go off.
Automatic. And if it's a revolver, you're gonna pop open the cylinder. Whatever firearm it is, we're gonna make sure that it's clear and you're able to handle it.
And safe for you to handle it. Because like Shad said, you're going to want to get your hands on these guns. Because of the features, do you want an external safety? What are the benefits of having it? There's pros and cons. Do you want a longer slide? All these different
actual
features.
Fit, and then can you reach the controls that you're going to need?
Great point.
That's going to be another one as well. So
yes, because I do train a bunch of people that actually have the wrong size gun or the wrong type of gun, and that's never good. So ultimately, pick your gun, right? So buy your gun. So in the state of Florida, you need to purchase the firearm first because we need to know the serial number in order to run your background check.
And I think that's a year ago, I guess. It was when the ATF changed their 4473 form. So in doing so, they require to know what firearm you're getting at the beginning of the process.
Correct.
Whereas prior to that, that was not the case.
It was almost at the end.
Correct. So you do need to know what it is that you're getting, and the salesperson needs to know what it is you're getting in order to start the background check process.
Correct, yes. So once you choose your gun, you're going to purchase it. You can also leave a down payment. It's really when money changes hands. So a lot of stores offer layaway, which we do as well. We offer, a down payment, and then you can pay it off 30 days, 60 days, whatever it is that we have going on. And then once you choose your gun, we know the serial number, and we know the make, model, and caliber. We can then use FDLE, which is Florida Department of Law Enforcement. It's a third party.
And again, this is for Florida.
Correct.
There's other states that use other stuff, but
correct. A lot of other states use the NICS system.
Yep. And I think FDLE does use NICS, but we just do it through them specifically.
Yeah,
So,
I think you might be right on that. So for us, it's FDLE, Florida Department of Law Enforcement, and it is a third party. So a lot of times when people's background checks come back pending, their status after we submit it, it's pending or it's denied, they're like, oh, what the hell, and they get mad at us, and we're like, we don't make the decisions. We don't know why they're saying that. And it could be a whole,
plethora.
I was going to say plethora, but I didn't know if that was the right word. A whole plethora. I knew if I even said it, you would make fun of me. So
It was correct.
okay,
There you go.
Plethora.
Yes. So that's going to be the word of the day, kids.
A whole plethora of reasons
Right.
why you might be a pending and or a denial. We're going to get into some reasons why you might be excluded in just a minute, but ultimately it is not usually the gun shop's
It's not their
discretion.
fault, yeah.
Ultimately, the discretion of you being approved or not is made by a third party, whether it's NICS or FDLE. The gun
Correct.
shop doesn't have that ability. However, it is on the gun shops. It is their ability to make a decision if we sell you a gun or not. So if you're acting all sketch or you're on the phone with somebody and picking out a gun, that's a straw purchase. And we can absolutely make the decision not to sell that gun to you. And we look for that. Are you acting weird? I mean, there's a lot of, mental health issues that people have, or straw purchases, like I said, or just like people that just, you just get that feeling. You got to trust your gut.
Come in smelling like pot.
Oh, smelling like pot. People come into our shop smelling like pot, and we're like, probably not the greatest idea to smoke a blunt before you go into the gun shop,
Just
people,
saying.
okay?
When you open the car door and a whole load of smoke comes out of it, you probably shouldn't go into the gun shop.
Go
at
to the
that
gun
point.
shop on another day.
Right.
But yes, so it is our discretion to not sell you a gun. However, once we make the decision and, we kind of know that, this is okay, for the most part. And we can only do what we can do, right?
Absolutely.
Even when, like, Parkland, it brings me, I'm probably going to go down a rabbit hole, but was it Parkland that, or Orlando? I can't remember. One of the shootings that happened, the media was just going crazy on this gun shop. Like, how could he sell the gun to this person, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, if he didn't give any inclination that
Right.
there was an
I think it
issue.
was Parkland.
Was it
Yeah,
Parkland?
Yeah.
All right. It's like,
He was
it's not the
18,
gun
he bought
shop's
an
fault.
AR, it was his first gun, whatever. And at the time, he might not have been weird
Right.
or anything. I mean, I say weird, but he might not have been
Giving off any
that
kind of-
vibe, right?
yeah.
And even though that was his intent,
Sure.
but how are they supposed to know that? You ask questions. Hey,
Sure.
this is my first AR. Oh, that's awesome, great.
What's your intended use?
Right,
And,
I mean,
right.
so it
I mean,
can-
somebody comes in and they buy, they're like, I want an AR-15. I need, 50 round drum. I need this. I need a bag. I need armor. I need that, and they're acting all weird. It's like red flags are going off,
Right.
right?
Absolutely.
So ultimately, we try to do our best, but ultimately, you just have to use your best judgment, because
Yep.
it is up to FDLE in our state to tell us yes or no. We don't
Right.
know if they have a domestic. We don't know if they have anything
Right.
like that, because that's their job to do.
And like you said, it's tough because as Americans, it's your right. It's your right
Sure.
to own a firearm.
Sure.
Now, it's still also our right to try to make sure that it's not going into the wrong hands.
Sure.
So this is where
People
we
get
do want to
upset.
ask questions,
Yeah.
right? But I mean, it's again, we would hate if we sold the firearm to somebody that did
Oh, my
something like
gosh,
that. It would
yeah.
be awful, absolutely awful. That is
Horrible.
not something that we want to do.
Yeah.
So we want to do the best that we can to make sure that doesn't happen
Yeah.
also.
And I feel like, it's the public's responsibility as well,
Yeah.
because it is like my worst nightmare to sell a gun to somebody and then them hurt somebody else,
Yeah.
or children or anything like that, or
Right.
any of these shootings that happen. It's literally my worst nightmare.
Yeah.
And when Parkland happened in Florida, I was devastated.
Yeah.
I mean, I was just beyond myself, because children is just, we have 4. It's like just the thought of somebody harming our children, and then, the media just blasting the gun shops and stuff. It just was horrible. So it is the worst thing. But to the public, if you know something, you have to report it, because 99% of these shootings that happen, their family members, their friends, people on Facebook, they've seen these posts. It is ultimately your responsibility, and you have to report it. If your husband, if your friend, I know it's horrible, it's your family, but you're ultimately doing the right thing.
Right.
I mean, we had a family member that we went and took the gun.
Yeah.
Right? Because they were talking stupid,
They're just
and we
in a
literally
right space.
in a bad space, and we went over and we took the gun. And honestly, our family member was pissed off. And your person, if this happens, is going to be pissed off. But you know what? Nobody was killed. There was no
Nothing
mass
bad
shooting. He didn't harm himself. He didn't harm anybody else. And then when we knew he got some help, then boom, he got his gun back.
Right.
But ultimately, if we didn't do that,
Right.
the cops don't know, FDLE doesn't know, NICS doesn't know. Nobody knows it until you tell it. So it really is very, very important for the public
It's amazing,
to know.
though. On the Parkland shooting, he had been reported
Yes.
multiple times to the FBI,
Yeah.
and the FBI had been out and done interviews, which is
Yeah.
absolutely mind-numbing.
Yeah.
that with that being done,
he was able to keep
still
it.
able,
Yeah.
he was able to get it. It
How,
was just
how about that
insane.
one that's just happened recently where the parents bought him the Glock 19 and
Yeah.
he was already talking about doing something horrible. He
Yeah.
was already talking about doing something horrible. Guys, if somebody's talking about doing something horrible, they should not have a firearm, period.
Yeah.
I mean, come on now. Like, common sense here, people, right?
Right.
Okay, so
There was that rabbit hole.
that rabbit hole, like, it went down. Wow, we really went down it. But it's very good information to know.
Right.
And please report it, okay?
Yes.
All right, so background check. So you get your background check, you're approved, you're pending, you're denied, right?
Right. So there's 3 statuses, right? Go, no go, or limbo.
Right.
So, and the limbo, we have no idea. So a decision pending, we still have some decision pendings from May.
Like a year ago, yeah.
May of
Yeah.
last year.
Yeah. It's
They're
very
supposed to-
frustrating.
They're supposed to get a response back within
3
days.
days, yes, but they don't.
So
Correct.
find an attorney if you're in that situation, because this shit needs to get rectified. It's insane.
Yeah,
that
the
it takes
pending.
this long to get information they need. It's absolutely, I think it's bullshit. And I think,
Yeah.
that the FDLE is dragging their feet
Yeah.
on purpose, which is, again, bullshit. Because
Yeah.
it's your right to be able to do this. So make a decision.
Yeah.
If it's no, it's no.
Right.
Just make the freaking decision.
Because you can appeal it too. So let's just say you
Absolutely.
get denied, right? And like I started saying earlier, there's a few reasons why. We'll get into that in a minute. But it might be something as common as, your name is a very common name, John
Yep.
Smith. And John Smith in Florida, in Tampa, Florida, had a felony. So
Right.
you just don't know why you get denied. So just stick with the process. It might take a little bit of time, but you can also,
you could
fight
be a
it.
junior, right?
Sure.
Or a senior, and
Yeah.
vice versa, and all that kind of stuff. And somebody else with that same name, obviously,
Correct.
things didn't go well for them for whatever reason.
Yes.
And yeah, that could be a reason
Exactly.
they got denied. So.
Yep. So then once you're approved in the state of Florida, you're approved to purchase your firearm, FDLE says thumbs up, then there's potentially something called a waiting period. So if you do not have a concealed license in the state of Florida,
Right.
you have a cooling down period is what they
Right.
call it. So it's a wait period. So it's in Hillsborough County, which is where our Tampa store is,
Right.
it's 5 business days.
Right.
And then in Pinellas County, where our Largo store is, that is 3 business days. So you're going to have to check with your
Right.
county.
So statewide, it's a mandatory 3 days, period. So it's 3 business days, no holidays, no weekends.
Until you can pick up your
Until you
firearm.
can pick up the firearm, correct.
So, and
So-
actually take possession of it. And
Right.
their thought process is that if somebody has a fight with their wife and they go to the gun shop and they buy a gun and they leave with it the same day and they, something happens, this is going to allow you time to kind of think about it and
Right.
reconsider. And it's called a cooling down period.
Right.
So, and some people are upset at that too, but it just is what it is, and we just got to follow the rules,
Well,
and that's it for now.
During the pandemic, right, we had a lot of people that were coming into the shop, and again, we're disinformed due to the regular media. You know who you are. But they were given information that anybody could come in and buy a gun, and that there was no waiting period. They were expecting to be able to get a gun and go home with it immediately.
Correct.
So, and
Yeah.
again, it's
And they're shocked that
yeah.
they need a
They're
background
like,
check,
"What?
and they're
I can't believe that."
Right.
Well, believe it.
So without a concealed license in the state of Florida, you do have that wait period. And that's definitely a benefit of getting your concealed license in the state of Florida, because
Right.
then you don't have that wait period. So once you have your concealed license, they've already done that background check, not in addition to the FDLE background check that the
Correct.
gun shop does. In order to get your concealed license, they're going to do a pretty detailed
Right.
background check for you, and that's why they waive the waiting period when you have your concealed license.
Right. So you still have to go through a background check when you purchase a gun with a concealed weapons license. You're just able to leave with it that same time. Because
Correct.
again,
No wait.
right, it's good. The concealed weapons license is good for 7 years, so anything can happen in that 7-year
Sure.
period. So they want to make sure that things are still on the up and up.
Correct. So every time you purchase, it's a background check. Every
That's
time
correct.
you purchase, with or without a concealed license.
That's correct.
All right, so a couple of stats on sales in America. I ran a
boy.
couple of those, right? Super fun. I love doing this. So they really have spiked in the last couple of years. I wonder why.
I don't know. Peaceful protesting?
Well,
I don't know.
according to the FBI and USA Today, major causes of this are civil unrest, of course, we know that. Civil unrest was
Yeah,
happening.
peaceful protesting, right.
Brought on by the COVID-19 pandemic.
Right.
Also, the war in Ukraine is really
Wait,
opening.
what? There's a war?
Yes, it's really opening people's eyes.
Well, honestly, it's that whole when a government starts handing out AK-47s to
Civilians.
civilians
Yeah,
in order
it's
to
pretty
help protect
crazy.
themselves. People here were like, oh, I think I might need an AR-15.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
So in
Because
1990,
that's never going to happen here. Sorry to interrupt, but
Go
that
ahead.
will never, ever, ever happen here.
what won't happen here?
The government will never hand out AR-15s.
Well, never
If
say
something-
never.
It will never happen.
Never say never.
Yeah.
Okay, the FBI started keeping data on background checks back in 1999, and there were 9 million sales of firearms back in 1999. Well,
Okay.
to date, in 2020 and 2021 alone, there were 77 million sales, background checks. Background checks, sorry. And to date, there's more than 414 million background checks that have been done since they've been trying to keep track in
Wow.
1999. Background check systems prevented more than 300,000 firearm sales in 2020 alone. So when they
So
say
300,000 denials.
300,000 denials. So when people are like, they sell a gun to anybody can get a gun, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Bullshit. Because the background check system,
Nailed it.
right, prevented 300,000 firearms
Wow.
in 2020. And then almost 2 million denials to date. So 2 million denials since 1999.
Right.
So they're working. It's working. Does it work every single time? Unfortunately, no, because, people aren't reporting things.
Correct.
So again, if you know somebody that's talking crazy or is doing things like that they shouldn't be talking about or doing, you have to
Yes.
report it, because that's the only way that it's going to get to the NICS system. It's going to get to FDLE. If they don't know, they're not going to prevent that person.
Correct.
They're not going to flag them. So when we run a background check, it's going to come back a denial.
And you can't just call the shop and go, hey, this person's acting crazy. Don't sell them a gun.
Right.
Because that's not the legal process. You have
Sure.
to go through the legal process.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
yeah.
So pretty interesting, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's amazing.
Right?
Holy shit.
I know. All right, so concealed carry license is in Florida. Concealed license, so what is it, right? So it's an actual license. I should have had mine, but, so the license, I looked at him
you
like,
hear that?
where's your license? Yeah, did you hear that, people? All right, so it's an actual license. Some people say it's a permit, but it is a license. It's a concealed weapon.
Ignore the picture, please.
Oh, you can't see it. It's a concealed weapon or firearm license. So it's the same size as your driver's license. You could just, basically, I slide mine right behind my driver's license. I always have it on me. It's hard plastic, just like your driver's license is, same size as your driver's license. It's got your picture on it. It is a state-issued ID. It has your date of birth. It's issued by the state, so it is actually an alternative form
It's
of
a
ID.
second form of ID, yes.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So that's what your concealed license is. Who needs one? So,
Everybody.
I mean,
Everybody. Well, it's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. So it just gives you, if you own a firearm, I recommend it. Again, even if you don't
Yeah.
conceal carry, it gives you options in case you need to or want to.
Sure.
Because at the time you're gonna be like, oh my God, I can't do that. Well,
Right.
so if you had it, you would be able to do it and
Yeah.
kind of go from there.
Especially the long wait period counties like
Sure.
Hillsborough County, the Tampa Bay area. I just can't believe it's 5 business days, because if you think about it, it's over a week, you
Yeah.
know? And God forbid something was going down like last year or the year before in your neighborhood or in your
Right.
city, and you needed a firearm pretty quickly. I mean, 5 business days is a very long time to
Yeah.
wait. So you really, that is a definite bonus of having your concealed license. Even if you don't plan on carrying on your person or anything like that, it is good to have just to negate that wait period for
Absolutely.
sure. All
And
right. Mm-hmm.
transporting it helps on transporting it, makes it a little bit easier to do that. Where can you have it in your vehicle? You
Mm-hmm.
know, come to one of our classes, we can talk about that. But again, there's certain places that you can have it without a license,
Sure.
and a lot more places you can have it with a license. So it just makes it that much easier and to stay
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
legal.
Absolutely.
So-
And the other caveat to having a concealed license is you really need to be experienced with your firearm. It's very, very important to get training before you start carrying. There's, the safety rules. There's just knowing your gun. In our shooting clubs, we've done drawing from a holster in the, like a beginner drawing from a holster. You'll see different classes up on your screen. It's very, very important to get training. before you start carrying, because even in, like I said, in our shooting clubs, we've done intro to holster draw, and I've said it before, I had the ladies like draw from a holster, and I said fire, and more than half of their guns did not fire because they had their safety on, or because they weren't chambered, or whatever the reason.
Right.
And thank God we did that training, because if you don't do that training, you're going to draw in a self-defense situation, and it's not going to go bang, and you're done.
Yep.
You're done.
You're done.
I knew that was going to happen. So ultimately, make sure you train. Very important. So how about this stat? Florida gets a lot of shit just for being Florida.
We're the
Even though
gunshine
Florida's
state.
amazing, we are the gunshine state. I love living here. So how many people in Florida do you think have a concealed carry license?
2.5 million.
You know that answer already. It's actually, I ran the numbers today. It is 2.678036. Exactly.
As of
2
what date?
million today.
Wow.
2,678,036. Yes, scroll all the way down to the bottom.
Keep scrolling.
And it's going to show you that
We're
number.
almost there.
Can you believe 2.6 million people
Well,
have
since I said
concealed?
2.5 million, yeah, I can believe that. I honestly am not surprised that it's not actually at like 3 million, to be honest.
Really? That's a lot of people. I mean, I don't know. I wonder how many people are even in Florida. I don't even know.
Well, so that, like the Tampa Bay area, I think we're well over 1 million, 1.5 million in the Tampa Bay area, and I'm sure the Miami-Dade area is got to be 2 million or 3 million people. So I mean, you
We
have
could
some
probably do some
large,
research.
you have some large cities, and I'm sure that Rob's doing that right now as we
No.
speak, aren't you, buddy?
He actually is. I can see him.
But again,
Yeah.
large populations here. So I mean, in Florida, I mean, we probably have, 10, 12, 15 million people.
Well, we'll find out in a second. But another stat that I want to bring up, I love my stats, on who, like the differences between male, female, like who has a concealed license? Who's your typical concealed license holder in the state of Florida?
How many? I was gonna,
Go, what?
No,
No.
can't do it.
No.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, now I need to know. Okay, so the statistic on profiles on who has a license, do we have that statistic up? If not, I'll move on, maybe. I think it was like 70, nope, it's the stats on who has concealed license in Florida, statistics, but I'm pretty sure it was 70, there we go, yes. So there you go. So 18 to 35-year-olds, actually,
Wow, look at
it's
that.
pretty.
51 to 65-year-olds. Holy crap! Look at that.
Can you-
66 and up.
Isn't-
You go, guys.
Can you believe that? Isn't that amazing?
Let's go AARP. Woo!
Speaking of ARP, no, I'm just kidding.
I'm in the 51 to 65 range now, nonetheless. So
We get discounts on stuff now, though. We
what do you mean,
do.
we pale face?
Hey,
I get them.
pale face.
So blue is male, and green is female. I'm assuming. Is that correct?
Correct. So
Okay.
male is blue and female is
Come on,
green.
ladies, catch up.
That's what I was thinking too.
Right?
But look at the age.
I
So you
tell
know
you
what's
what.
interesting? The age group, 18 to 35, we're almost like half and half there.
Yeah.
So I think the younger generation of females are
yeah.
really getting into it.
Absolutely.
And they're
And
yeah.
honestly, in the 6 years that we've had the shop and been doing this,
Yeah, 13.
I'm seeing more and more women
Sure.
coming in for sure.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's definitely a lot higher than it was just several years ago, for
Yes,
sure. So
absolutely.
Keep coming in. Keep
Yes.
coming in.
Thanks, Rob, for putting that up.
Yeah.
Okay, so the other thing about having a concealed license in the state of Florida, there's other states, it's called reciprocity. So there's other states that honor your Florida license, which is great because when you get your concealed license, you travel, people that travel for work or whatever, you're visiting family, you want to go shoot out at a range in Las Vegas, whatever you want to do, you can
Right.
still travel with your firearms as long as you have that reciprocity,
Correct.
which is other states that honor your Florida license. Now, of course, you need to know that state's rules and regulations. It's just honoring your credentials in Florida that you are allowed to carry there, but you have to carry how that state carries. So like
Correct.
Florida is a concealed carry state. If you come from an open carry state, if you're visiting an open carry state, you need to make sure that you're open carrying and not concealed carrying. So you need to know that state's rules.
And do you need to be a resident of that state in
Correct.
order to do that?
Yep.
So again, it's good to know their laws to
Sure.
make sure that you're following the proper procedures.
Yep. So currently on the website, freshfromflorida.com, it's the go-to for your concealed license, freshfromflorida.com, and you punch in concealed. There's currently 36 states listed on that website right now that honor Florida license holders. And I think we have something that we could put up on the screen for that as well. So it lists all the states that honor Florida license holders right there. Now, I'm pretty sure Colorado is off. Somebody told me recently, and again, I didn't research it myself, so I don't know.
This is Fresh from Florida right now.
Correct.
Colorado is on there,
Correct.
so I would say they were incorrect.
Well,
and maybe
look
it's
into
going
that.
that direction.
Yeah, and honestly, what might be, as you can see all those states, isn't that great? So there's little numbers next to the states. That means there's something different. You have to go to that state you're visiting. So if I was going to Louisiana and I wanted to bring my gun with me, I would go to this website and I'd click on Louisiana, and then it would take me to Louisiana's rules and regulations, and I would follow those rules and regulations.
You can see the numbers next to that. It gives you a quick caveat. You can see Louisiana, the number one, and it says, while Florida allows licensees to carry more than just firearms,
Sure.
they just allow firearms.
Correct, and not weapons in general.
Correct.
So again, just look up the state, and then, so then you can travel with firearms.
And there's a couple of states that I think there's 3 of them that you have to be a Florida resident in order to have reciprocity with your Florida license.
Okay.
So it would not be reciprocity if you were an out-of-state resident and have a Florida license, which you can.
Yes.
Because
You
we
don't
have
have
had
to be a
people just
resident.
recently that were told that they could not have a Florida concealed weapons license without being a Florida resident.
That's untrue, yes. You can absolutely get a Florida concealed license and not be a resident of the state
correct.
of Florida. So that is absolutely true.
Yep.
All right, so eligibility. So we get this question a lot, not only just for your concealed license, but also for guns. So in this instance, we're talking about concealed licenses. So I would kind of tend to lean on the side that if you can't get a concealed license, you probably are not going to be able to get a gun.
Correct.
But this is what the state of Florida says that will potentially disqualify you from getting a concealed license. So there is an eligibility link that we can put up, and then there's also who can't have one, what is disqualifying. So those are some possible reasons for ineligibility. So again, people that don't understand who can buy a gun and who can, and they think everybody can get a gun, you cannot. Okay, there's even 2 or more DUI convictions.
Wow.
It's literally, there's a lot of reasons why you're ineligible.
See, I did not know that.
Yes, the physical inability to handle a firearm safely.
Right.
We've trained people that are basically legally blind. It's like, well,
But
how
it's
in
amazing-
God's
but it's
name can they
amazing how they actually
are able to hit their target?
Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah. Who can't have one? So disqualifying stuff. So that was ineligibility. They have it on 2 different links for some reason. But the who can't have one.
Fugitive. Wait.
Yeah,
What?
Fugitive from justice.
Hey, why not?
Yeah.
Come on, they're nice people.
Correct. Any felony conviction, misdemeanor
Pending
crime.
arrest for disqualifying crimes, right? And then
Correct.
if you have something open, like you're going through a legal process, you probably can't get a firearm
No.
either, just for the fact that you have something pending, regardless of how stupid it might be.
Correct.
It does need to be finalized
Sure.
and completed before you can go through that process.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
we've had that
Sure.
issue that, comes up, so.
Yeah, and it's I feel bad because, people live their lives, people make mistakes, especially when you're younger. Sometimes we'll have like older gentlemen that come in, in their 60s or whatever, and they're like,
Happened when they were 15 or
happened when they were
16.
under, minors.
insane.
They got, caught with a joint or something like that,
Right.
something silly, that nothing
Right.
like domestic or
Back
anything.
in the day, it was, that was insane,
Yeah.
right? But now it's like, okay.
And they're denied, and they're like, "What? How could I possibly deny? I'm
Right.
squeaky clean." Well, they do their research and they find out. They talk to FDLE, and it turns out that it's from that.
Right.
And it was even dismissed or thrown out. Then they have to get the records from that state if it was
Right.
from a different state, and it's this
Yeah.
whole thing. But it can be overturned, so don't
Correct.
give up.
Correct.
So
So if you are denied, you can appeal it. There's a form. You basically come into the location. If it's with us, you're going to come into our store. We're going to give you what you need to do in order to file
Correct.
your appeal.
yes, absolutely. All right, so ineligibility, we went over disqualifying stuff.
Yep.
So where do you get your license? So basically in the state of Florida, you need to take a class, right? For the most part. If you're military and you have your DD-214 or your active duty, you can absolutely use your credentials to
Correct.
apply for a concealed license.
Correct.
You do not need to take a class. Now, with that said, We definitely encourage you to take a class because a lot of times military, and we love our military,
Right.
and thank everybody for their service, whether you're current or retired or whatever.
That's right.
And we love you. However,
Bree.
yes, our daughter is active Navy, so we are very proud of our military daughter and our family, other family members that have been in the military.
Yes.
However, you're not always very, proficient with your handgun, right? So
You may not have been issued a handgun.
Sure.
Just because you're in the military doesn't actually mean that you've dealt with a handgun before.
correct.
So-
A lot of people in the military handle rifles, and they're very, experienced in carbines, but you're not going to be concealed carrying a carbine. So ultimately, it is kind of a disservice for it to be generalized, but I do understand where Florida was going with that, to
Right.
honor our military by not making them take a class. But ultimately, we do suggest that you do, because you
Right.
want to still learn about the rules and regulations of carrying,
Absolutely.
justifiable use of deadly force, where you can go, when you can go, all that stuff,
Yep.
which you're not going to learn if you don't take a class. So ultimately, if you're not military, you need to take a class. You're going to take a class, you're going to learn about basic firearm safety in our classes. There are other stores other places that do like a 6-hour, 10-hour, 3-day course, which is fine. In our concealed carry class, we separate them out. So we have a specific concealed carry class that is not a firearm training class. You already need to be experienced, and you will be tested on your experience level before
Yep.
you fire a live round.
Yep.
And we go over all of the rules and regulations of carrying. Like I said, justifiable use of deadly force, what you can carry, where you can carry, all that good stuff.
Ask the doctor and stand your ground. Yada,
Correct.
Yada, yada.
Yes. And that is just because we had a lot of people that were experienced already. They've been,
Yeah.
they've had their concealed license in other states or something,
They
and they
need to
don't
sit
want
through
to.
a beginner class.
They didn't want to sit through a class with somebody that had never touched a gun before, and we're sitting there trying to, teach them how to load a magazine. They're loading the ammo in wrong. We're teaching them and all that
Right.
stuff. And this guy is sitting here like, what the hell, man?
I've been doing this all my life.
Right.
Yeah.
Why do I have to sit
Right.
with this person that is inexperienced? And it goes the other way as well.
Absolutely.
Because the person that's inexperienced doesn't want to feel like they can't have that time spent with them and
Sure.
learn how to actually use their gun. So in our
It's
stores,
a disservice to both in
Correct.
order to have a wrong person in a wrong class.
Absolutely.
It's a disservice to everybody.
and the instructor, honestly,
absolutely, yeah.
because it's frustrating for the instructor as well when you see somebody kind of like, tapping their fingers like, come on already, this lady, or man is like, doesn't get it. Why does it take you
Right.
20 minutes to load a magazine? Well,
Right.
because they've been doing it for 10 years. This person has never touched a gun.
They've been doing it for 2 minutes.
Correct. So that our concealed classes at Mad Dog Armory are structured that way.
Right. So we have our concealed carry class, and then we have our full Monty class. And the full Monty class provides gun training
Correct.
as well.
Yes.
So-
And then we have beginner, intermediate. Yeah, they've been up on your screen a whole bunch of times. So just visit our website, mdarmory.com, and you can learn all about the different
Come
classes.
in, stop in. We love seeing smiling faces. So,
Sure.
Yes.
Yes. All right. So concealed carry classes cover 790, which is chapter 790, weapons and firearms, and
Yep.
then 776, justifiable
Justifiable
use
use
of
of-
deadly force.
Yep.
A lot of people don't realize one of the things that stands out to me is trespassing alone is not justifiable use of deadly force in Florida. And a lot of people don't realize
Misdemeanor.
that because we always hear, somebody comes on my property, I'll shoot them. And I'm like, no, you can't do that. So something as simple as that, knowing that trespassing alone,
That's a freebie, guys.
right, the rest you have to pay. No, I'm just kidding. No, that's what we're here for, honestly. So ultimately, there's a lot of things to learn. You really need to understand the rules and
Right.
regulations of carrying, when you should shoot, when you shouldn't. Of course, avoidance is the best thing that you can do because even
Absolutely.
if you are 100% justified, your door is kicked in, the person laying on the floor bleeding got a gun in their hand, you still are going to have a hellstorm of things that are going to happen, okay? Potentially.
Right.
So you could potentially still be arrested. You're going to have liability, issues if that family, oh my gosh, I just heard something from USCCA, our rep, which we're going to get into in just a second. He told me that somebody sued, so somebody's family, of the criminal, so the criminal's
Right.
family
Of course.
sued the person that shot them
Very nice person.
for child support. Child support. I couldn't believe it. I was like, what? And they won.
Wow.
They won. The family said that he was no longer allowed to provide for his children, and that the homeowner was now responsible to pay the child support because that person...
And please tell me this did not happen in Florida.
I don't know where it happened. I didn't get all the details because our USCCA rep will sometimes come into our class, our concealed classes, and do a little informational talk about their product, which we'll get into in just a second, as long as we don't run out of time. But it's very interesting, some of the stories that he has, because you never know what's going to happen. I mean, the legal system's crazy. Anybody can sue anybody for anything. So again, even if you're 100% justified, you're always going to want to have some sort of protection, which is kind of going to segue us into this next part.
So we just, who's getting sued? Is it Burger King? Burger King is getting, or McDonald's is getting sued for not providing the amount of food that they show and display on their, oh yeah.
I didn't hear
Heard
about
that.
that.
On the way over here. Holy crap.
How did I not hear that? Because I was writing the show. No, I don't know about that.
We're really prepared here.
No, I mean, we are, but I didn't know that. So because of the picture that they display, it doesn't have as many fries or something?
Well, it doesn't provide the amount of meat and stuff that it says and that it shows and all this other
Well,
stuff.
I kind of agree. You know, they make the fries look like
They
all...
make everything look spectacular.
like full, and you get your little thing of
of
fries, and it's like there's a little bit down at the bottom. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah.
It doesn't look like the picture. So actually, I'm down for that, you know? I mean, it's wrong.
It's a class action lawsuit. Hey,
Right.
join in.
Oh, it's funny. All right, so
You get a dollar.
so back to the
You
dollar.
get $1.
Who gets $1? The people.
So if they win, it's a class action
the
lawsuit. You're going to
class
get
action.
a check for like 35 cents or something like that for getting it. Yeah.
It's true. We do get
insane.
those. It's funny. Okay, so having a plan in place is very important because the last thing you want to be doing at 2 in the morning is Googling best criminal attorney in Tampa, right? So you have to have a plan in place. Once you decide to purchase a gun, or you have a gun in the house, or you're going to start carrying, whatever goes on, and you have firearms, you should absolutely 100% do some research on having a plan in place. So maybe you have a brother that's a criminal attorney. Great. There's your plan. Have it in your phone. Have a cell phone in there so God forbid something happens. You know who to call. But if you don't have somebody that is a criminal attorney in the family, who are you going to call? So, of
Not
course...
Ghostbusters.
Of course, the most popular is going to be the NRA, right? National Rifle Association. They've been around a long time. We're not getting any perks or anything from them just for joining, for talking about it, or for you joining. But the NRA is a huge industry
gun advocate. They're a
Thank you.
lobbyist, basically.
Correct.
But nonetheless, they fight for our gun rights and for the
Every
rights
day.
to hold, protect our rights to bear arms.
Correct.
Not to arm bearers, but to bear arms.
Correct. And very affordable program, okay? So you're going to get an NRA, so you're going to fill this out. You can do it online, you can do it in our store. It's a very simple application, just very little information. And it's like $30, $35 for 1 year. It goes up from there. I think it's
$100
$100.
and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So you have a couple different ways: yearly,
85.
3-year, 10-year, lifetime.
So 3 year, it's behind you, but 3 years, your membership is like $85 or something like that. So anyway, it's an annual thing.
Yeah.
You get a discount for multiple years.
Yep.
You're going to get like a hat or a bag that says NRA. You're going to get a decal that you could put on your car or on your range bag, whatever.
Yep.
And then you get a year subscription to a magazine of your choice.
Yep.
It could be digital or printed, which I love. I look forward to getting our magazines. Can I have that concealed carry? I get... This is not NRA, but I'll show you it's concealed carry from USCCA. But you will, which we're going to talk about next, but you will get a magazine in the mail if you choose not to get digital. And I really look forward to those magazines. It talks about different products, holsters, new guns that are coming out, pros and cons. They're all different stuff, industry related.
Right? Information is good, so knowledge is good. So anything you can do to brush up on, what's happening, what's going on. And then they just talk about things that are happening in general in the gun industry.
Absolutely. And you on your card, so you're going to get your NRA membership card, it's going to have an 800 number on there. And that's who you're going to call if you don't have a plan in place, of course, when something goes down. Because they're going to get you to the right person. They're going to get you to an attorney that is, a gun advocate or a criminal defense attorney or whoever. So this way you have them on your side because they're going to help and work with you and get you the right people, in touch with the right people that can help you. So NRA is great. I definitely highly recommend everybody that owns a firearm to join the NRA and support them because they do fight for our rights.
That's
Very,
right.
very, very important.
Yep.
Anything else on NRA? Yeah, I think
it's good.
Yeah, so NRA is great. In addition to NRA, there's a bug that keeps flying around.
Where's the lizard? We need the frickin' lizard in here.
What's the lizard's name? I don't know.
We haven't come up. What was the name of the lizard? Did we come up with a name yet?
No, we don't
No,
know.
not yet.
Okay,
So
Dylan
we'll
named
figure
it.
it out.
Okay. Anyway, in addition to NRA, USCCA, United States Concealed Carry Association, came out. So, yep, USCCA.
screen there,
Okay,
yeah.
up on the screen. USCCA has a really interesting story. It was founded by a man that had a self-defense situation, defended his family, and had like the runaround with, I think he went to
and stuff,
jail
yeah.
for a little while. It's been a while since I looked into the story, but I remember hearing about it and I thought to myself, wow, that guy really got the raw end of the deal. He was
Yeah.
defending his family. He was
he got the
justified.
shaft.
Yeah. And he went to jail and all this stuff. So he founded USCCA. So basically USCCA is like an insurance policy, right?
Yeah.
So it's a monthly premium. You can also pay annually. And I think you get a discount if you pay annually. But all that information was up on your screen. So you can definitely go to their website for more information.
Yeah,
But I
there
just
it
want
is
to
right
tell
there.
you about the actual product and why we kind of suggest it.
Yep.
They pay for your attorney.
Yep.
They will pay for your house to be cleaned up if,
They'll pay for your bail.
they pay your bail. They
if
replace
there's bail.
your firearm
Yeah.
because the police are going to take your firearm
They're
as
gonna
evidence.
confiscate it for evidence until the process is completed.
Correct. So they replace your firearm. There's a lot of things. And that's great coverage to have.
Liability insurance as well.
Yep.
So they're going to pay defense attorney fees as well as liability.
Absolutely.
So-
And you're covered up to certain amounts. Like I said, it was
Yeah,
up on your
Rob had
screen,
it
but
on the screen,
that's okay.
yeah.
And you can re-look it up, but just a great program. The other thing I like about USCCA and is really worth the money is the training program. They are very, very aligned with training. And again, if you're carrying, you must be trained. You have to keep training over and over and over again, and you need to do that constantly. And they are very education oriented.
Right.
So you get all sorts of stuff. Can I see that ammo can real quick? They're running a promo right now, and we have these at our shop as well. So basically you get a free ammo can, which is great, because who doesn't need an extra ammo can? Inside the pack, the ammo can, you get a hat, of course, which isn't, it's cool, but it isn't, you get your temporary card. So as soon as you join, you get a temporary card. I think it's the same with NRA too.
Yep.
You get one of these yellow guns that I was just showing you. It's a Glock 17 molded, plastic. So it helps you, like, you can draw from your holster, you can practice trigger control, all that stuff, which is great.
Also get a patch.
You get a patch, 10 drills to improve your shooting, which is really great. You can stick this in your range bag. It actually has like a little correction chart. So if you're low, if you're high, if you're left, if you're right, it kind of gives you an idea of maybe what you can work on and why you are that way, which is amazing. And then inside, there's all these different drills that you can practice, which is absolutely amazing.
Yep.
I've worked these, dry fire, 5 and 5 drill. So there's a lot of the speed load. So when you have to reload, and drop your magazine and in a semi-auto and then reload, really great. So this is a really
Right.
great range tool that you can bring with you. The other thing it comes with is this cool bullet-shaped USB, and basically this unlocks tons of training.
Absolutely.
Like a ton of training.
Yeah.
I've tried to get through it. We've just been so busy. I think I'm like on level 2 out of, I don't even know how many levels there are, but there's a lot more than 2.
Yeah.
And I haven't even had a chance to go through personally and go through all of them. But I do know other students that have purchased the membership and have gone through it, and they are just like, they can't say
Yeah.
enough.
There's some stuff is like, but the most of their training is really, really good training stuff.
Yeah.
So
It is great.
You do get what you pay for in this,
Sure.
for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely, 100%.
Yep, it's a commitment.
Yeah.
But again, somebody here just actually at the studio just said, "Oh yeah, I'm a member of USCCA." That guy came in and talked at my concealed class, and the first thing he asked was, "Do you have $300,000
You have
in your bank?"
$90,000 for
Yeah.
defense attorney fees
Right,
in
right.
your bank.
Because if you don't, then you need USCCA, right? Because who has that? You're going to have to mortgage your house. You're going to have to,
Yeah.
and again, it sucks because you would think that something that's justified, you wouldn't have all this crap that goes along with it. But unfortunately, you might,
Well,
and at least you have that protection.
In the state of Florida, unfortunately, if you use a firearm to defend yourself, you are guilty until proven innocent, unfortunately. So that is, yes, 100%. Yes.
Wow, that stinks.
It does.
So USCCA, again, very, very good company. We support them wholeheartedly. We are
Yes.
partners with them, NRA as well. Just different types of coverage.
Sure.
But both absolutely important and necessary for
Sure.
you to be educated and have a plan in place. Again,
Yeah.
very, very important.
Actually, one of the things we didn't talk about with the NRA is they do send out a lot of emails. They do provide you with a lot of legislation
Thank
that's getting ready
you.
to come down.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
forgot to mention that.
So the legislation that's coming down, they'll let you know kind of what's happening and what to look for as far as voting and what some of the stuff actually means as opposed to what people might be telling you it means.
Super important.
So,
The
yeah.
emails come in, and I get frustrated sometimes because there's a lot of emails that come in, but it's some of them, I click on them and it's like, oh my gosh, I had no idea this was trying to pass.
Right.
So the legislative updates are just so important for everybody to follow
Yeah.
and make sure that you are shooting down, no pun intended, some of these laws that they're trying to pass
Right.
that take away our rights. So definitely join the NRA,
Yes.
join the USCCA, and follow the rules and regulations of carrying in your state.
Yep.
And we're super excited that you joined us today. And I am jumping out of a plane on Saturday, so I hope to be here.
So hopefully she'll make it back for the
Hope
next
to be here.
episode.
I'm so
and Not
excited.
in a wheelchair or something.
Oh, geez. Well, I certainly
Oh,
hope
golly
not.
jeepers.
I have my pink tutu. I'm jumping out of a plane on Saturday, and I look forward to seeing you all next week. So thank you for watching. We'll see you next Friday at 6.
Bye.
Bye.